I think that it's okay and it's normal to have shit days in which you feel like shit and you feel like nothing is going well and you think you are a terrible mom. And let's talk about it. Like, let's be real. Let's be honest about all the feels and how it is, because it's not only about like having a hug and dancing in the kitchen with your kids. Let's start like that. I thought everything was gonna be so much easier, okay? I feel like it's time to speak about the balance between, basically the balance between work and being a mom, because I feel like especially this month I've been a bit all over the place. Guess what? We are in the airport once again. And guess what? We are in a plane again. Okay, we are on the plane, intense and fast. And as you can tell, I'm not doing really great. I just came back from the last working trip. I just have like this feeling that I'm so tired that I'm not able to give anything to anyone. So, you know, when you feel like you're not enough on anything, like I feel like I'm not good with the kids, I feel like I'm not good in my job. I'm too exhausted to be like a nice wife and a mother. I'm tired. I wanna cry again. So I wanted to have an open and real discussion about it with you, also because I would be so happy and super curious to have maybe your point of view. Obviously, when I got pregnant the first time and I had Romeo, like I knew becoming a mother would be something that would be life-changing. I just didn't know how life-changing it would be. Non, tu veux pas les pousser les feuilles? So despite obviously the lack of sleep, I'm destroyed. Yesterday night we didn't sleep at all. Charlotte started to cry. She woke up Romeo. So it was like a concerto a casa. Time is changing and priorities and perspective. I didn't know I would have to birth a new version of myself too. So the way you see yourself, the way you feel yourself, like you literally becoming a mother, and this is almost overtaking your old self. So it's really hard to balance. Reality check. I landed Saturday morning to 2 kids that are sick. I didn't even wash my hair yet. You as a mother and you as a self-human being. So let's say Gabrielle and Maman Gabrielle. So I'm still both, and it's very difficult for me to balance the two. Always like comparing myself and saying I'm not good enough and I should do this and I should do that. And Andy today was telling me like, girl, you forgot that you have 2 kids. Like you did all of this stuff while birthing and having kids. So you should be proud of yourself. Like all the girls you compare yourself to, they are single. They're so, because I want to be the best at the two.
Can we come in for some jewelry shop? Love it. Stunning.
And honestly, I feel like I'm struggling because I don't know, I just feel like I'm not having the magic tricks yet. And having a second one literally made everything harder, obviously. I didn't know that neither. I mean, I imagine, but I never imagine really well. I'm too tired, literally. You know what? I'm too tired. I'm a bit tired. I'm so tired. I'm 2 very tired parents, let's say. And I'm so grateful I have 2. I would never change that. I love Charlotte. I'm so happy she came into our life. And even though I'm struggling today, I'm so grateful I have this kind of struggle, and I wouldn't change it in any other way possible. Let's make that clear. I'm so grateful for them. I love them more than I love anything in the world, probably more than I love myself. The reason why I'm struggling is just because I love them so much and I really want to give my best to them, and some days I just feel that I cannot because I'm like that, you know? I have an headache that is illegal. I'm so exhausted. You're a mom and you have some advice. Please give me some advice on how to feel better. Like tips, how do you do to make it possible? Help me out, please. Thank you. I'm overwhelmed, and I think that it's probably very common to all the mothers, but I think we tend to hide it because we want to keep like a strong face in front of others, in front of ourselves, but sometimes it's hard to keep up with our own expectations, and I think that it's okay and it's normal to have shit days in which you feel like shit and you feel like nothing is going well and you think you are a terrible mom, and let's talk about it. Like, let's be real, let's be honest about all the feels and how it is, because it's not only about like having a hug and dancing in the kitchen with your kids. It's also about like feeling insecure as a mother, insecure as a woman. It's about losing yourself to find yourself again. The reason why I'm taking the camera is to force me to make this situation better. You know, and you just want to be like left alone and be in bed for a while. It's about being sleep deprived, and sometimes you spend the day changing diapers, feeding others, and taking care of other human beings so much that you forget to take care of yourself. Do the basic things for me. I feed one and then I feed another, and then it's time for the other one to go to sleep. So I'm eating like, you know, quickly. Like I don't really remember the last time I had like a proper meal. This is so good, by the way. It's full of collagen. And plus work stress that sometimes can lead you to just crash, because we are human beings. So let's be real about it. Obviously, I didn't know it was gonna be this hard, but I didn't know it was gonna be this beautiful neither. I am lucky in a sense that I always been able to manage my workflow in the way that even with La Semaine, it was my company since 3 days ago, you know. I have to say that, to be really, truly honest, I feel like one of the things that has been the hardest is that when I got Romeo, I was so dedicated to my work. Like, I was so dedicated to La Semaine, guys. Let me tell you that at some point in La Semaine, the office, 2 times the office was my house. So I was waking up and going to sleep in the office. I was non-stop. There were no break into La Semaine. If I was not working on the project, working on the communication, working on all of that, I was sleeping. So it was literally like my main concern. And I was super happy about it because it was my baby. It was what was making me happy. It was what was making me feel satisfied. It was something that I was pouring everything that I had into, and I was really proud of it. And then I finally got pregnant, and it was the most beautiful day of my life. Let's say that my hormones were all over the place, like all over the place. So let's say that all of this shift, like physical and mentally, didn't help me with my job. Then I gave birth, and obviously I went to work almost straight after, because obviously owning my own company and being the leader of my company, I needed to be there. So I didn't have like a long break in which I could just like recover, and I had a quite traumatizing first birth experience. So physically I was really in a bad condition. Like, I walked badly for a month, but I was recovering from the emergency section. I was breastfeeding for the first time. I was not sleeping, obviously, not much. And so obviously then I started to realize how this question of handling motherhood and like being a woman that is not only a mother would be very difficult, and especially for the work space. This is the moment I started to realize that I will need to balance it out. And first thing I did is having a nanny. So I got a nanny, and she was amazing to me. She doesn't work with us anymore because she had to leave, but we're still in contact. You know, when you have a nanny and she become like a nanny for your kid, but a nanny for yourself too. Like, I've been so lucky. I was so happy and so secure that I know that Romeo was in good hands. In the meanwhile, obviously, when you start working again after giving birth, like, it's horrible. You want to cry when you're in the office because you want to be with your baby, and you're like, what the fuck I'm doing? Like, now everything that I believed was so important is not that important anymore. Everything that I put myself into almost doesn't matter anymore. And for me, it was such a shock going back to my first baby, La Semaine Paris, and not finding anymore the spark that I used to have, because at home I had a newborn that I wanted to be with, okay? And this is leading to another question, which is what I wanted to do with my life. Like, what kind of woman I wanted to be. I wanted to be a mom that stays at home and doesn't work, because, you know, at some point you have to ask yourself those questions. Like, do I want it to be a mother that tried to do both? C'est mon amour. Oui. And I knew that I needed to do something. Like, I could not give up on my work because giving up on my work to me was giving up on myself. And I know this is a very personal question, and I have no judgment for women that choose another way, because life is hard and being a mother is hard enough to have to deal with like the opinion and the judgment of others. I never thought I would ask myself this question because I've always been working. I've always been independent. My dad always told me since I was a kid, Gabrielle, dans la vie, on ne peut compter que sur soi. In life, you can only count on yourself. And this is like a tattoo that I have. And therefore, even though now I don't believe it so much clearly because I'm married with the love of my life and I trust him, I know I can count on him. This is still one of my core beliefs in life. To me, I could never envisage not to support myself. But still, I asked myself this question because I wanted to be so close from Romeo. I was feeling sad when I was at the office and I was feeling sad when I was at home. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? It just like my life took a turn, obviously. On the other end, I started to become a mother, so I started to feel like this incredible love. Never ever felt anything like this before, and God knows I love my husband, so I know something about love. But the love of a mother for their kids, I don't think it's even possible to put it in words.
Ridley Scott.
Il lui fait voir le lac. Hein? My biggest happiness. La petite cabane. Romeo and Charlotte are the only human being that literally they can do anything to me and I will always keep my arms open. They're the only person. Like when we speak about like unconditional love, like that's what it is. And I discovered that not knowing how to handle all the picture, I've also felt like the greatest love and satisfaction of my life just being next to this little human being that I wanted to take care of and give love to. I was super lucky and I'm still lucky because I don't have like a strict schedule, in the meaning that obviously when I have a job, I need to do it. And that's why in the past months I've been traveling so much, is because that's my way of earning my money. I don't remember the last time your girl traveled for pleasure. I'm so happy to be going back home. Ricardo is gonna come pick me up and I will go directly at home to wake up the kids. I'm happy that I'm away and that I'm working, but then when the job is finished, I need to be home already. Like, I don't want to lose time, you know what I mean? So this obviously is something that is quite strict, but in the office life, when I create the content and everything, like if I have a production for Prada and they give me a timeline, I can still choose when I shoot it, how, blah blah blah. So it gives me a lot of flexibility, and thanks to that I felt like I had a bit the things under control with time. So after a month, few weeks, I started to understand that basically it was quite balanced, at least to me. Like I felt I was able to do what I needed to do in work, and I was able to enjoy Romeo and like be there for him. And everything was fine. And then I got pregnant again with Charlotte. It was a completely surprise. I mean, I know I always wanted to have a second kid, but I didn't thought I would get pregnant at all because I struggled with my fertility. So I thought that anyway, the second time around would be, something that we had to work on and not something that would just happen. And for Charlotte, it just happened. I find that I was pregnant the day of the birthday of Ricardo, and it was the best gift I ever gave to him. It was a blessing and I was so happy. And when this happened, we went to Paris and I started to like this urge to be with Romeo. I wanted to be with him so bad. And I said to Ricardo, like, I want to be present for Romeo, like way more. And I'm going to use this pregnancy because with the pregnancy, obviously, I didn't travel anymore. Like the last months, I was not doing jobs like here and there. I don't want a nanny anymore. Like I want to be with Romeo full time. And I had my dad in Paris that was helping us. So, with our support system, we did handle the things like gracefully. It was such an amazing period. Like I was spending so much time with Romeo while I was killing it at work. Like I literally managed to like do everything I needed during his nap time or while he was sleeping, and not even feeling so burnout. Obviously, in that period of life, I didn't have any time for friendship, and I didn't have so much time with Ricardo as a couple neither, because I don't know, I think you cannot have it all, or if you do, please tell me how, because me, I never been able to have it all. So like, even though we are at home changing diapers, we're super happy and grateful, you know. So our couple was like super happy, like everything was fine. And I think like this was one of the most amazing period. This is it. Like, I was just taking care of him for everything that was like cooking. I was batch cooking stuff and then froze it. So then I didn't have to like cook every time. So basically, like this, it was okay, and I felt like I nailed the working balance, okay? And then I had Charlotte. And let me tell you that she's the best baby ever. Like, I'm so lucky with this girl. Like, she's not only the cutest little baby in the world. And so it's not about her. Like, it's not about her being a difficult baby, because she's honestly the best baby ever. I feel like it's just about like the balance and the equilibrium of our family that literally went over the roof. It's like the same thing that happens when you have your first kid, in which you had a balance and it's leaving out, you know, and you have to find a new one. And probably I didn't find my new one now, and that's why I'm struggling. And if I do find it, I swear I will share it with you and I will give you all the tips and tricks, but now I didn't. You know, when Charlotte was born, Romeo got, you know, as every kid, he got a bit perturbé, no? And on the other hand, I had a newborn to take care of. My God, let me tell you that the first months, wow. So this time around, I plan to have some time off, so I didn't start it to work before a month and a half, I think. And I thought it was gonna be easier than it was. Like, I feel like with Charlotte, everything was so much easier because I knew I did it before. So I knew how to breastfeed, I knew how to take care of a newborn, how to do the first bath, like I knew all of this stuff, but I didn't know how to handle Romeo. So it was crazy, and my mom heart was like breaking, because I was like, how can I do to give to both of them everything that they need to have, you know, and try to understand to Romeo that he's not an only child anymore. But for me, it's very hard to manage it. So also, if you have tips and you have like several kids, like, please help me out. I bring with me this book. It's in Italian. It's called The 7 Spiritual Rules of the Good Parent. You can tell I had a tough weekend, because I swear to God that I spent so much time with Romeo, like literally. I remember my friends telling me like, okay, remember to spend as much time as you can with your first, because your second is too small. She won't remember anything, but your first will remember everything, so you cannot create jealousy. And so that's why I try to do. So I take a pericultrice, a nanny that came, that helped us with Charlotte as I was taking care of Romeo. I don't know, I really think I try my best. I don't know. I think we all try to do the best we can. Wow. Oh, regarde, une bougie. Franchement, vous avez fait une super construction. T'as allumé. Tu veux que je te fasse... Non, il faut pas le toucher. With what we know and what we have and what we feel. Anyway, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm tired. I told you I'm on the edge of a breakdown. I feel so silly. I'm sorry. So I took a month and a half of pause. And then I went back to work. Oh my God. I mean, at the beginning with Charlotte, it was also easier because, I mean, she was drinking milk and sleeping, so it was okay. But then after, you know, they start to eat food, so you need to have 2 different food for both of the kids. Romeo is not like a big eater. Romeo is obsessed with avocados. That's literally the only thing my son is eating, and he needs to eat fat. So I'm putting butter, oil, and avocados. Like Charlotte, she just loves to eat. That every meal we cook like 500 things different, at least 3 things. So maybe I just don't have the right organization. Probably it's that. So if you have it, please help me out, because I literally don't know. And obviously, to add a little bit of spice on that situation, we moved house 3 times. Because our house renovation was supposed to be ready last Christmas. Obviously it wasn't. So we went to Paris, next to the parents of Ricardo. So they would be closer, they could help us, and we'd be super happy to be next to them because we love them so much. And then we moved to the lake. We moved to the lake when Romeo had to start school. And then at some point, the work started to go back. So I have to say that if I have to birth a new project, like I need to be settled in my life first, because now I have nothing to give. Content creation, influencing and all of that first. And when I have this settled, I will think of the rest. Because I don't know how I would do. Like, if these days I would have to be in the office every single day, guys, I don't know how I would do. Like, honestly, I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel so bad for Ricardo because the guy is in, like, boarding meeting and you have, like, a kid screaming in the back. And for me, I can handle it. It's different. Like, it's okay. Like, I can plan. I go when Romeo is napping and Charlotte is napping. I go 1 hour, 2 hours, and I do what I need to do. I just really hope that the house is gonna be ready so we both have our office. And also for Romeo and Charlotte, like, seeing us around, they obviously want to be with us. It's normal, but I think it's way easier for them to handle when you're not there. Like, mama and papa goes working during the day and they then come back and you have your routine and everything. Lately with Ricardo, we finished the day that we don't even speak to each other. I don't remember the last time we had, like, a conversation. Like, for real, we're so exhausted. Oh. We're super tired, guys.
No, why are you saying that? Not at all. Tired, I think it's an euphemism. Like, we are devastated.
Yeah, we are destroyed. We need to have a moment for ourselves because our couple needs it. Like, you know what? I feel like you need to feel full to be able to give. And I feel that I arrive in the moment that I feel so empty that I struggle to give. You need your cup to be full, or at least not to be so empty. You know, like, I feel like Ricardo is way better on, like, finding a balance. Like, sometimes, you know, he take time and he's gonna go to do, like, tennis or something like this. But if I want to go somewhere, I need to have Ricardo drive me. So I always take my books to learn how to drive. And obviously never use it. So it's a snake that is eating his own tail. So yeah, next year I want a driving license. I'm gonna get my fucking driving license. So I still didn't find a balance between, like, me, my work, and being a mother. Now I am in a situation in which I have no idea. Like, I'm burned out. Like, I don't know how people do. During the last trip in London, guys, when I tell you that I had for 3 days an headache, I was in so much pain. I was sick. I was tired. I'm gonna sleep tonight. I will not have some kids waking me up, so I'm gonna enjoy that. I really struggle to even, like, you know, do the things the way they should be done. And then I go back home from that and I'm tired again. Okay, I need to go back down. Wish me luck. And I crash down, but I have the house to pay. I have so many bills coming up. Crazy. So I need to work. I don't feel like I have enough time and enough energy, more than anything, to be the mom I want to be. Like, I want to come up with, like, fun activities. Like, bonjour, mon cher enfant. Bonjour. Oh. Like, I want to come up with fun recipe to do with my kids. I want to come up with, like, nice activities that we can do at the lakes and spot to discover. On va voir l'île bleue. La isola blu. La isola rossa.
Guardi.
Abbiamo perso il nonno. Grandpa is in love. Guardalo. Al parco. Peut-être qu'il y a ses copains à côté. Qu'est-ce que tu... T'as vu comme c'est beau? Regarde devant toi. I'm just sad that when I'm at home, I'm there, but I don't feel like I'm there 300%. And I feel like this mom guilt is something insane that you have, like, the day you give birth to a kid. Celui-là, il est bleu avec d'autres couleurs, et celui-là, il y a un peu plus de jaune. Lequel tu préfères? Celui-là? Oh là 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 là! Moi, c'est moi qui les casse, mon gars. But I really feel the mom guilt, and it's silly because I do everything I do in my life for them. Like, I work my ass off because I want to build a home for them. Ma ti piace la casa? Tanto tanto? Amore. I work because
Yeah, you can play with this.
I want to protect them from the world, and I want to make sure that whatever happens, they will have this. And it's way more than I had. But somehow, working towards that make me miss moments. And
Amore mio, Madonna, amore, ma quanto sei bello.
ah no, ma no. Energy to be the mom I want to be. So it's a fucking paradox, you know. So funny because you're gonna click on this video and you're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna have great tips. And you're just gonna hear me like being like so fucking confused. Actually, it's me asking your advice, honestly. And there's no rule, like there's no one rule for each and every mother, because every situation is different. Like every working situation is different, every kid is different. Hopefully in 6 months I will be, girls, I've did it, I find it, I finally managed to crack the code. And if I do, you can be sure I will share it with you. But for now, that's not how I feel. And I really, really, really hope that when we are gonna have a home, I know I'm so bothering because I always say that, but I really hope that when we are gonna finally have our home, it's gonna help us settle down and find a balance as a family and find a balance between work and family. And sometimes we nailed it and sometimes we fuck it up. At the end of the day, I do believe that what's the most important is that the love and care that we give to our kids, because no situation is ideal or perfect. And I do believe that I'm good at that. Like I have so much love for them. I'm like pouring love to them, through them every single day. So this I know I'm good at. It's more like the managing situation that I'm not so good at. So please send us tips, things that help you as a mother, or send us tips like things that you remember as a kid that your parents do, like maybe, I don't know, have this one tradition once a week that make you felt loved and seen, how you deal with your relationship with your brother and sisters, what your parents do to make it better and not have any jealousy, or what you did as a parent to understand that is not. I think like this time I really need help. Like usually I kind of find my answers by myself, but on this one I'm struggling. I'm gonna have some food now. So now that I'm in Milan and there is Bianco Latte, my favorite place to order food, I'm gonna order a pasta. I love you. Thank you for being there.